Welcome to College Dunia. Here today with us is Dr. Srivastav, the designated Pro Vice Chancellor of IMS Unison University, Dehradun. Welcome, sir, to College Dunia on Thoughts on Education.
Thank you, Rachit.
And thank you, sir. Just start with the same thing. We'll be asking you a few questions about your views on what IMS Unison is going to do for next 4 to 5 years and what are the plan of it. So, shall we start, sir?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, sir, I'll start. So you hold a key position at the education institutions throughout your professional career. What are the key factors that you keep you connected with your education sector?
Yeah, key factors you can say why I have been connected with the higher educations particularly
Mm-hmm.
because higher educations I country. So in India, despite we have plenty of intellectuals,
Mm-hmm.
but still we are not able to figure in any top 500 institutions, global institutions in the world. Why? So
Yes.
this is some big questions always in my mind. So how we can channelize because there is no dearth of potential with this young mind. But problem is to channelize in the right directions with the right guidance. That is very much required. Second, I can see too much regulations, and now new education policy has come where they are ready to give lot of flexibility and autonomy to higher education. But I don't know how actually it is going to practice because many times even in the past government used to say, but directly, indirectly, these I think interventions comes from the many authorities and ultimately the higher education's handle. The other factors could be, you can say the as an individual from my side, the passion for learning with these young minds. So once you are in academic institutions, you are interacting with the many young faculty, you are interacting with the students, and that is the way as a academic we also learn from these new ideas. So these are the factors, yes, would like to connect. I am really happy and really thankful that I am connected with the higher education since long.
Okay, sir. So the next question comes down to being the pro vice chancellor of IMS University. What is your philosophy of leadership? How would you describe your leadership style?
Philosophy of the my leadership or I can see the way I would like to see, particularly in education sectors. I would like to go with the three H. Number one is the honesty because education sectors honesty should be the top priority and the highest level, and ethics because you are going to be the role model for many new young generations. So I think you can say the zero compromise are at particularly at this parameters. So
Okay.
honesty has to be the highest level, and second is the of course humble.
Mm-hmm.
If you are not humble, so teaching learning experiences is not going to continue. So as you know, academics by nature usually happen to be humble, and that means you are open to all the sides to learn as well as to communicate the same learning to the next generations, and that is a way to create a good environment for the teaching learning. And third H, you can say the hard work. Hard
Mm-hmm.
work is no substitutes of this hard work. So as you know, the competition is going on. Students are too much having aspirations. So how you are going to meet their expectations? So you have to update as per the industry need, your curriculum, your delivery, your technology, everything. and each stakeholders need to update their knowledge with continuous trainings, faculty development program. So nowadays higher education is not a one time that you have entered and that whatever you have learned during your student periods and only you are going to deliver. If you are not going to touch in today's problem with the student, I don't think the students are going to connect with you. So this is the hard work. So ultimately, I can say my leadership philosophy is the nothing, only three words. That is the honesty, humble, and hard.
Okay, sir. So moving forward to the next question. So being the Pro Vice Chancellor of IMS Unison University Dehradun, how do you strategize about the key program and plans of the marketing and administration of your school?
Here I can say the usually being an academician, I don't believe too much on marketing particularly, and that's why I would like to go with the most important factor is the word of mouth.
Okay.
And word of mouth is only possible once your existing students are more than satisfied with your curriculum, with your delivery, and ultimately the output,
Mhm.
and how they are going to meet the expectation of the industry to whom they are going to join. So, if there is a huge gap between their learning and the expectation from the industry, definitely there will be big challenge. The moment you are minimizing this gap
Right, sir.
between the industry expectation as well as the students' learning, then you can see the word of mouth is going well, and then there is no much challenges, particularly in the marketing or whatever the you can say other areas. The
Okay, sir.
second strategy could be the students learning, not only in terms of the knowledge, but equally important the skill development as well as the attitude development. Once we are talking about these knowledge development, skill development, and attitude development, is not only just to one times or just on the paper or just in the very, it has to be in a very structured way. What are the program you are having in your structure to which you are catering the need of skill development? So you have to be structured in a way that every week you are having some engagement on the skill development program. So different institutions can develop as per the vision and mission of the organizations, different type of skill. Similarly for the attitudes, many people are talking a lot of about the attitude development. What actually they are doing to ignite the attitude among the students. So how you are social sensitive, how you are ready to help each others, these are the area. And if you are simple, I'll take example, if you are taking your students maybe once in every fortnight to the some rural area, to some village area, and they are working 2 to 3 hours with these downtrodden community, they would like to understand their problem on ground. They would like to help them just with the piece of knowledge. Most of these rural people, they are very, I think, hardworking, but they don't have the knowledge. A simple, suppose my law students are visiting to these villages and they are just giving some advice how they can overcome with these small petty problems. So this is the
Right.
way you could be in touch with these downtrodden, and then you understand how you are working to develop the attitude of the students. So
Right,
these
sir.
are the some area where would like to focus. And
Right, sir.
third factor could be the yes, for the as an administration, I would like to say the discipline and punctuality. This is a very important, very important, and we don't want to compromise anywhere, particularly on these factors. Discipline means once you are in the campus, you have to follow all the rules set by the institutions, and if there will be any violations, it will be dealt according to rules and regulation. Similarly, the punctuality. Punctuality means whatever the date you had announced for any activity, start of the classes, start of the examinations, result declarations, and we have already displayed everything on our academic calendar on the website. And we would like to be religiously follow the same date, whatever we had already, I think, announced in the public domain. So this is the way you can set certain examples among the students. If you are going to have a full discipline with your all these, only then you can expect the student will follow similar type of punctuality and discipline in their manner. So these are the some, yes.
Right. So moving ahead, sir, with the NEP as a welcoming move in Indian education system, how do you see the future of education and university in India?
Let me first, I think, congratulate to a government of India. After many years, they have come with this new education policy, and it is definitely after going through the certain points of the this new education policy, I can say it is going to be a big game changer, particularly in higher education in our country. First time I realized that they are also seriously thinking to match with the US university and some of the leading university in Europe. So first time they are coming with this new ideas where they are giving lot of flexibility to the students to choose their program. It is not like that. The suppose the art discipline students, and suppose he would like to have some inclination to learn something from the science. Why there should be gap? Why there should be boundary? The students should flow for their learning the way they want. So now this policy are going to give this type of flexibility. And similarly, they are also talking a lot about the autonomy to the institutions. So this is another good way. Or I will say that just to have a more transparency and accountability with the institution, they are going to phase out the different type of deemed to be university, affiliated college, all these in the next 15 years or whatever time. So the institution at least should own its own responsibility as well as the accountability. If I'm saying that this is the IMS university, so for everything I'm responsible, right from the start of the program to the distribution of the degree, whatever. So this is the nice move, I will say. And also they are going to give more focus on the multidisciplinary approach. So it's not only that you are just developing your expertise only in one domain. Like you take the example of the IITs or IIMs. So these are the best institutions known worldwide standards in our country. But only one problem with these institutions, the IITs is known for only technology. Similarly, IIMs is known for only in the management. But you know, today's the human being development are the, you can say, the industry or the economy, it needs the multidisciplinary approach because of the improving the importance of technology and internet in our daily life. So if you are restricted only with the technology knowledge and you don't have the some understanding about the how people behave in the real world, so how you are going to connect? This is the something which was missing earlier. So now government is going to focus more on the multidisciplinary, and everyone has. If you are having in your campus all the schools, suppose IIT is also having the humanities, social science, liberal arts. So definitely the flow of knowledge will go, and everyone is learn from each other. Similarly, the students, and then you can see the overall development of a human being or of a students. So students' knowledge should not be limited only in one area.
Right.
So this is a good move from the new education policy, and I'm expecting too much from this policy in the next, and we can see some changes from the next 5 years to 6 years. It is going to be visible to us.
Right. So moving ahead, there's another question come down that how does the curriculum of IMS University, Unison University, ensure the best practice of industry?
Yes, very good questions. I will say that Here in the IMS Unison, we would like to see focus more on the what the industries are expecting from the students. So how problem is that how? So there has to be some continuous industry academic interface in any way. As suppose we are inviting this industry expert and a very regular features in all the elective courses. It is almost mandatory that faculty has to invite some industry expert to interact with the students. Like I'll take the examples. This time we are going with the orientation, 2 weeks orientation program of the new batch, and you will not believe. And our faculty was also surprising to see that more than 50 industry expert we have invited to interact with the students just in a period of 2 weeks, duration of 2 weeks, in the all the schools, in the all the different programs. We are having the 5 schools. So this is the best way to know what the industry are doing, what they are expecting, and how they are sharing, and also what the gaps they would like to find out with our students. So this is one way, and based on their inputs and based on their advice, yes, we are very much open to work and update our curriculum structure. Almost every year, 10% we are updating our curriculum structures as per the industry needs. So this year, though we have done a massive exercise to go with our curriculum structure updations, and our deans and faculty took 6 month times to work on the curriculum structure. And now we very confidently we can say that now we are having best of the curriculum structure, which not only matching with the premium institution in our country, but yes, you can also map with any international universities on certain program.
I see.
And third, very important things, during the time of placement, whatever the job descriptions shared by these industry peoples to our TNP departments. So I had asked to compile these all the job description and then sit with the respective school and the deans and the faculty, see what are the job description and where is the gap which we are not able to uh, take in our curriculum. So accordingly, again, we would like to fill this gap. So with this way, we are trying as much as possible to meet the industry expectation with updating our curriculum almost every year.
Right, sir. So moving ahead, there's another question come down that any insight into how your university could be more welcoming to the student of different race and economic backgrounds.
In terms of the race, I think we, as a IMS Unison University, is not discriminating any of the students from any race, religion, or we are also welcoming the students from the different countries. Like we are having the students from the Nepal, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Tanzania, like this. And just to increase the students from our neighboring country, we are giving almost 25% scholarship to increase the students from these countries. Similarly, we are also having n number of scholarship for various category. Like for the girls students, we have a scholarship. For meritorious students, we have a scholarship. For army personnel, we have a scholarship. For students from the Uttarakhand, just to increase our state, we have a scholarship up to 25%. So we are having more than 10 category of the scholarship to cater some of the students who are not capable uh, to go ahead with the higher education. So we are also ready to fund their fee. Like this year, I will say that the Purukul, we have admitted the students at a very subsidized. So based on the needs, based on the this, we are trying to take the students from the different categories. So there is no any such discriminations, and we are trying to encourage and empower, whether it is a women, whether it is some backward areas, or even the neighboring countries. We are encouraging our students.
Okay, sir. So moving ahead, what do you think your role and responsibility to the university and the, you can say, to the students?
My roles and responsibility just to create a conducive environment uh, in the university uh, for the effective teaching learning experiences. So my role that to how you can create, though it's not so easy to create a conducive environment, and for that you have to be continuously on toe where is the problem, as much as you are minimizing these problems. So definitely you are trying to create slowly a very good environment for the both for the faculty as well as for the students. If my faculty will be happy and more than satisfied, because this is the something which you have to deliver through your heart and mind. It's not so easy. Today's the teaching in the higher education. So if faculty is going with the any some type of issues, definitely he is not bringing his best to the class. So we would like to interact on a very continuous to all the faculty. There are faculty meetings. We would like to interact with the students. Suppose this is the COVID time is going on, but still I'm very much interacting with my students as well as the class representative of each program as well as from the faculty on a very continuous basis. So if you are interacting only, then you came to know some issues, some problems, a small, it's not such a big which you cannot solve, and we are solving these type of issue, and then the students are happy, similarly the faculty are happy, and then both are going to have a very good teaching learning. Like I'll take the examples, because of this COVID situation, if you ask the student to sit for the examinations online and a proctor mode means everything is going to monitor you. So there are a lot of anxiety among the students, they are panic, etc., etc. So just to reduce their panic, just to reduce their anxiety, we have conducted, you not believe, 4 to 5 times mock test first, just to first boost their level of confidence, and second, if there is some technical glitches, some technical, so they have been full friendly with the system as well as the they can understand uh, there should not be any problems. So if you go with this type of hand holding training and mock test, so confidence will be there, and then there will be no issue. And that is why we have conducted all the online examinations, online classes well in time, no extension anywhere. And we are very particular about our academic schedule and academic calendar.
Okay, sir. So moving ahead, what do you think should be the university's top priority over the next 10 years?
Over 10 years is a very good question. So, what would be the university top priority? Not only for, I'll say that for any Indian university, that is a quality research. This is the something which is very much missing. And university as a higher education, they think that they are very particular, very disciplined in their teaching, and that's why they are expecting that should be the number one in their respective states or their respective regions. But it is not sufficient until you are not updating the faculty knowledge with ongoing research. It would be very difficult. And the university is known first for the research and then for the technology dissemination. So technology knowledge creation is equally important. So if as a university we are just limiting ourselves just to disseminate the knowledge, so who is going to create the knowledge? So
Right.
creating the knowledge is also our responsibility, and faculty and the university has to understand. So that is why the clear cut focus on the some knowledge creation in the part of research, and for the research whether the faculty is having some ample time. So, what should be the teaching load? What should be the some incentive to encourage our faculty member to go for the research? And that is why we have developed a good research policy at par with the any premium institution in our country. So this is the one is the quality research would be the top priority in the next 5 to 10 years. Similarly, if you are going with the rigor of your program, so process has to so robust that you should have full control on your input as well as full control on your output. Means who is going to take admission, let the university will decide. What should be the criteria? What should be the standards? What should be the entrance or whatever the level? So if I'm going to have some say in my input, definitely we can control the quality for entire process. Similarly, for the output, may I have any control and output? Who is the company I should allow my students to sit for the placement? What are the packages I should allow to my student they should appear? So to have good control on this input and output, so next 4 to 5 years we should go with robust process. And if our process will be so rigor, definitely slowly we can see the time will come when we have a control on our input and output. So this is the way, and based on these all the exercises, of course, the target is also that ranking and accreditations. This should be also a goal for our university, IMS University. So we should have all the accreditations, national level, as well as some international level good accreditations. And if you are having some good accreditation, definitely as an outcome, you will have good ranking also. So these are the top priority in the next 5 years, 5 to 10 years for the IMS Unison Trust.
Okay, sir. So the another question come down that what are some of the biggest challenges you see both for higher education in general and for IMS University specifically?
Rachit, I think the biggest challenge not only before the IMS Unison, but most of the good institutions are facing to get the good quality faculty, having the both blend of both teaching as well as the good research. So this is something which is really missing, and how these faculty are updating themselves not only to teach theory based knowledge but application based knowledge. So how they are open to improve their learning on a continuous basis and meet the expectation of the students as well as the almost each stakeholder.
Right.
So application based teaching learning, that is one. Quality faculty is second. And third, of course, as I told you, uh, lacking in research. So these are the major challenges. And you can say if you are going to cater the need of all these, then you can say that improving the cost of higher education. So maintaining all this quality in terms of the good faculty, in terms of the good labs, in terms of the all the technology, definitely the cost of higher educations are increasing. So this is another area of concern for all of the university. And to meet this, because the usually in private university, they are not having any fund from the governments. So they have to be empowered on their own.
Exactly.
So as you know, the government restrictions to have a fee and then you have to improve the quality. So both is not possible. So that's we have to look into how it is possible. So these are the challenges I can share with you, Rachit.
Right. So the last question before we complete the same thing, any suggestion would like to give to the current youth and the aspiring students?
My suggestions to the students, particularly as in general, as well as in this COVID situation. So in general, my focus, my advice to the student, they should focus on the learning part. It's not only that I'm going to have this program at the end of 3 years or 2 years, I'm having this degree. So just apart from the degree in their hand, they should think seriously what they have learned. What was the takeaway from this particular program?
Right.
What the expectations they have in the beginning, and what are the takeaway at the end of the program. So they have to think very seriously, I'll say very seriously, to focus more on the learning part rather than having good CGPA and degree at the end of the program. So this is not going to suffice in this real world competitive scenario. So this is the, and today's, if you are going to have good learning, suppose I'm going to management graduate, I have all the learning from the management, but I don't have any skill. So this is today's the three dimensions aptitude is required among the students. KSA, we used to say, and this has been coined from the Harvard University, knowledge, skill, and attitudes. So students should focus in all these three dimensions, and they should come forward to engage themselves in all the three areas. Of course, the maximum weight is towards the knowledge. So if you ask me to categorize the weightage of all these three dimensions, I would like to advise to my student that 65% time they should spend to develop their knowledge, 25% time they should spend to develop their skill, and 10% of the time they should, I think, contribute towards the development of attitudes. So 65, 25, and 10. This should be the ratio for their overall personality development. So this is one advice. And second advice, understanding the value of time. Value of time is very, very precious. This is something which is very much missing among the Indian students from our country. If you compare, if you see the students from the West, they have a very high value of time in their minds. So, and if you understand the value of time and try to take out best of it, no one can stop. No one can stop you. So how you are going to utilize your every minutes, every day, every month in a more productive and more meaningful way, that is the way you are going to decide your future career. So whatever the time you are going to pass, again it is not going to come back. So it's best to have value of time right from day one once you join a college.
Sir.
So this is the some suggestions. And last one is the during the COVID situation, students should be very positive. Such type of challenges, whenever I think mankind has faced, I think mankind has overcome, and situation has been turned again in a very positive manner. So students should take care for their safety and health, and take all the precaution measures of whatever the as per the government guidelines, as well as they should also focus, taking all the care, they should also be engaged positively, and that is the best way to reduce your stress during these key times. So this is the be safe, be engaged, and be positive. Thank you.
Right. Thanks for your valuable time, sir, to have a discussion with College Dunia on thoughts on education. And we appreciate your thoughts, what you have shared with us, and we'll wish you a very happy and healthy life ahead, sir. Thanks for giving time, sir, for
Thank
College
you,
Dunia.
Rachit. Thank you, Rachit. Thank you,
Thank
Rachit.
you, sir.